I think I heard him before I actually saw him. Because Joe used to have his routines and walk around the grounds and shout and sing.
Joe Bevan spent 55 years in long-stay care because he had a learning disability, just like thousands of others in 20th century Wales.
He was just a complete character, and I think he was a sort of everyman figure for the people that lived in the hospital. You know, that's how I always saw him. When I left school, went to art college, I did a degree in fine art painting. I always considered myself as an artist that became a nurse, really. I'd always kept the art aspect of my sort of work separate to the nursing. But then a few things happened whilst I was working in Bryn and Airth that mentally made me draw on my experiences as an artist. I was helping a gentleman who'd just come out of bath, lying, and he was naked on the couch, and all I could see was paintings of Francis Bacon. Warm flesh tones against cold backgrounds. And from that point on, I think I started storing visual memories of people at Bryn and Airth and my experiences at Bryn and Airth. The whole hospital system was set up to sort of dehumanise people in a way, because people were treated as one mass block of people. And the danger was that individuality would be sort of eroded, and I think in some of the paintings that's what I've tried to show, is that sort of the erosion of personality. Some of the features aren't clear on some of the faces, and I think that's the message I was trying to get over.
Little is known about Joe's story. He was born in Pembrokeshire in 1938. It's believed that he first entered a long-stay institution for people with a learning disability in West Wales at the age of 15. Over the next few decades, Joe moved from institution to institution, eventually settling in North Wales at Bryn and Airth Hospital in the Conwy town of Llanfairfechan, where he remained until the day he died. The last of these institutions closed in 2008.
My name's Dave MacDonald, and my connection with Bryn and Airth Hospital goes back some 37 years. I began there one summer as a student working in the workshops within Bryn and Airth, where I first met Mr. Bevans, and ended up being manager of an activity area where our dear Joseph used to come every day and be with me. The people who were the most impaired were described as low grades. That was the terminology of the time. And those on the other extreme were called the high grades. Joseph Roy Bevans, my dear friend, was someone who came somewhere in the middle.
Just prior to my retirement, I was becoming increasingly aware that a lot of the people that had lived in Bryn and Airth over the years, they very much had this hidden history. People lived a lot of their lives within institutions without any family contact. And it always struck me that perhaps once they were gone, that there would be no record of their existence, which I found quite moving. Joe was quite an important figure in terms of the hospital, and I was aware how sort of significant he was in terms of like being this everyman figure. So I wanted to sort of just portray him really and give him some sort of dignity, I think. And I hope the paintings portrayed his spirit and his dignity. I just tried to capture the glint in his eye and, yeah, his sheer human spirit.
He was an odd-looking fellow, was Joseph. He was very small, 5'4". Big hands, enormous hands. Square-jawed and one eye and big ears. He was a force of nature. He was not someone that would easily fit within categories.
There was a sort of annual Christmas dinner and dance where each of the villas used to get dressed up in their finest clothes and get bussed off to like a dinner and dance in wherever it was, a Llandudno or whatever. One evening, Joe, who'd like to sort of spend time directing traffic on the hospital site, kindly directed a coach into the sort of swamp at the bottom of the site, which got bogged down for hours, and everybody had to wait for a coach to come and take everybody out. So that caused a lot of frustration for a lot of people, but it was absolutely hilarious.
How good was he at directing traffic?
Oh, he's terrible.
And he would always wear these bloody marigold gloves. He got quite partial to things. He liked dressing up. And he put his marigold gloves on and he would clean people's cars, but very often he would clean them with Brillo pads and scrape off the paint. And, "Bevan, will you get off my bloody car?"
Well, Joe used to have a load of stock phrases. He says, quite often he shout up the Irish, "You Welsh gets."
They're absurd. "You dirty old bra," by which point he would grab his hands round his throat and strangle himself. "You dirty girl's legs, oh, you Welsh hem." And on the day he died, I remember someone said to me, "He's gone, Dave," and I said, "I thought he would." She said, "You know what, Dave, I was with him when he died in the night, and he said something," she said. "He said, me not well." He didn't ever have a conversation, a man of few words, and yet on the day he died, he said that.
Joe's funeral, I remember it was a cold day, and I suppose it says a lot about Joe. It was the sort of closest thing I'd ever seen to a state funeral at Bryn Air. The amount of staff that were there. He had a horse-drawn carriage with black horses, black plumes, like one of these Victorian jobs.
And that came to the hospital and did a last tour round the grounds before it went to the church, before we all gathered, hundreds of people who worked, people who knew him as part of the village, and then to his burial place in the burial ground of the people of Llanfairpwllgwyngyll.
But among the many who attended Joe's funeral, there wasn't a single relative. No one even knew if he had any. But with an estate to settle, a search was mounted. After 2 years, it came to light that Joe had a brother. They had last seen each other as teenagers. Tony Bevans died 4 years before Joe. But he had 3 children.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Dean Bevans, and Joe was our uncle. The brother which my dad always talked about was taken into care from a young age. He mentioned that basically one of his regrets was never finding out, you know, sort of what had happened to his brother, sort of thing, you know. So he was only a young boy when Joe was taken away, and then obviously his life then obviously took his turns, and you get on with it.
Oh, look. Oh my God, it's amazing, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
Do you know what, you can't see,
Oh,
you can see the Bevans in him.
It's Bevans, yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame that
We never got to meet
we
him.
never got to meet him.
Here we are. Here we are. 2nd of July. Is that when he was born? Oh, that's the same month as us. Same month as you. 13th of December.
It's nice.
Go on. Just put him down.
Come on.
Just go and put him down.
Oh, she's so sad.
It's lovely, isn't it?
That's our uncle.
But Joe's story has one final twist thanks to the portrait.
A friend of mine who's an artist, he has a few portraits in the National Library of Wales collection. He'd seen it and was impressed by it really, and referred it to the National Library of Wales, asking them to take a look at it, and then they got in touch to say that they'd like it as part of their collection.
Joe's life could easily have been forgotten. Instead, his memory lives on in the collection of the National Library of Wales.
Joe used to have a whole series of sayings or adages he used to come out with, and he used to sort of shout, "You Welsh, get up the Irish," and a few other things. And I thought it'd be a little homage to him at the back because of his mischievous sense of humour that he would have. Especially now it's in the National Library of Wales. I think he would quite like that, being a mischievous sort of soul.